The stories that are the headlines.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Patrick Paez.
And I'm Lingao. It's a Monday, February 26. Here are some of our headlines today. In Cebu yesterday, former President Rodrigo Duterte led a prayer rally. A prayer rally against Chacha via a People's Initiative. In his speech, the former president clarified that he is not against Chacha, but on how it will be done. And unlike the last time, the former president did not criticize President Bongbong Marcos. But the former chief executive's son is not holding the punches. Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte called PBBM a scammer and even challenged House Speaker Martin Romualdez to a fistfight. And speaking of President Marcos, he emphasized the importance of learning from history and called on Filipinos to not just use one material as reference. In a vlog, he said, "Read everything." The president's video was posted on the same day the nation marked the 38th anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolt. And a social listening report showed that over 46% of Filipino social media users still consider the People Power Revolt significant. According to Capstone Intel Corporation, the 38th commemoration of EDSA gained more than 14 million reach in the Philippines as well as other countries around the globe. Teka, bakit ako nagbasa ng lahat?
Okay naman. EDSA naman ba? Oo.
Okay, so ang dami nakabang nung kahapon doon sa, well, not just the EDSA commemoration, but the
Cebu prayer rally.
The Cebu prayer rally.
Which was curiously hosted by...
Bigyan ng jacket yan.
Bigyan ng jacket yan. ni Mr. Willie Revillame was there. So we all know it was a political rally. So well, and also we know from a previous or a recent statement from the actor, the game show host Willie Revillame, that he's now finally open to politics, to running in an
public
election.
office.
Right.
Yeah. So it gets more interesting in 2025.
It was supposed to be. It was dubbed a prayer rally, but the huge lead wall of the stage proclaimed or declared that Filipinos are not for sale. So it was a very political rally.
Okay yung prayer rally.
Yan.
Ba't sa seminaryo na nakikita ganyan? Sa seminaryo ko. Wala kami yung ganyan prayer rally.
Yan. Ganyan na po ang prayer rally ngayon. Yan.
Wala bang audio yan? Pwede yung audio ng konti.
Yeah.
Baka mamaya religious song.
So I don't know, Bok. We forgot to ask our One News Cebu desk, Dale Israel, last week. If in Cebu, it is required to have a permit for these public actions.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Unless you're a prayer rally, because in which case baka you're accepted from
But I think naman almost all huge gatherings require some sort of permit from the local government. Kasi they have to maintain peace and order and
to
also maintain traffic.
deploy police, fix the traffic and all of that.
Iba yan, depending on the LGU. Yung iba ministerial lang, yung iba medyo political. So,
I'm not going to ask if 30,000 people really did come. That was the estimated crowd. But from the images, it seemed like it was well attended. At least from the images that we saw on the news, on news websites, it seemed it was well attended. Okay.
Well, let me just show you. This came out on Rappler. On the Cebu prayer rally from, and we quote, drug addict to, and we also quote, dignified. Duterte softens tone towards Marcos in Cebu rally. This is Rappler by John Sichon. Duterte says he has nothing against the administration of Marcos' charter change efforts, provided they did not serve to that, I suppose, to the advantage of the current president. So ngayon meron siyang
soft pedaling from the Davao rally where okay. I think our producers prepared some soundbite from that rally.
Yeah, let's hear what the former president has to say.
Ako, okay lang. Si Marcos karon medyo maganda ang suportahan ko yung Chacha at I am comfortable supporting the president. Wala pa naman ako nakitang talagang yung big error, big mistake. Wala pa. Wala naman ako nakitang maybe yung sa baba. Pero sa kanya, wala akong nabalitaan. So I continue to support him.
So definitely, Ed, toned down by several notches from the Davao rally, where he not only referred to the drug insinuations or allegations against the president, but he also threatened a Mindanao Republic.
And interestingly, now he's saying he did not see anything wrong with what the president is doing or appears to be doing as far as Chacha is concerned. Of course, if you go way back, 2017, the former president created a commission.
Tried to do charter change himself.
To put together amendments to the Constitution with respect to federalism. That was junked later on, it was abandoned later on because of resistance from the economic
Safe to
managers.
say, Bok, we've seen how many presidents since 1986, and every president, except for Cory Aquino, who after all, this,
He was too
this
busy
charter
trying to survive.
was passed during her time, but every president, starting from Fidel Ramos, wanted charter change in some form or in some form of or another.
And some more garapal than others. For example, Pirma, unang lumitaw yan, panahon ni Ramos ni FBR.
That was just the presidency immediately right after Cory Aquino, and already batang-bata pa ho yung saligang batas nung mga panahon ni FVR,
Not even
gusto
5 years
nila
old.
baguhin. Gusto nila baguhin. Right.
And then after that was, of course, GMA, and then...
Maybe no charter change move during the time of President Estrada. I don't recall.
no,
if
it's
there was
only 2
time.
years
Kasi only because of that. Only because of that.
Because you don't really think of charter change that much until you hit your second half.
Right. Usually not on the first or second year,
Oo.
except for this administration, for this term right now. This presidency.
you have to hand it to Duterte. You have to hand it to Duterte rin
Also.
Sa umpisa pa lang sabi niya, I want to amend the Constitution because I want federalism. So from the very start, he was clear with that.
But that plan, federalism plan, was actually killed from inside, from within.
Yeah, yun nga. The
By his economic managers, who
surprise, parang biglang,
right, told him douse some
We
cold
can't afford
water
it
in
now.
this plan by telling the president that it's going to cost a lot. Mahal,
because
mag-federalism.
supposedly it was an added layer, several added
Yes,
layers.
you're multiplying the government. I mean, you're going to have Supreme Courts on every state, legislatures on every state, and so on and so forth. So
And you have
double-
huge variances in terms of the income of each state. So some states will be subsidizing many of the other states.
Right.
So that, among other things, this is not our position. We're just talking about the positions made clear by the economic managers.
During the time of President Duterte, right? But now there's no talk of federalism. There's actually talk of liberalizing the economic provisions in the Constitution. But the deep suspicion, as always by critics, is not so much on the plan to open up the economy, but it's always the political system that they fear might be tampered with.
As well as
Specifically term limits.
Term limits and
Mm.
extensions.
And the biggest fear is coming from senators who fear that
Malulusong kanilang boto.
yes, or they might move into a unicameral form of government, right?
At malulusong
where
naman
you don't
ang
need a
kanilang
Senate,
karakter.
where you don't need a Senate.
Let's bring in ang News 5 reporter na si Marian Enriquez, who has been covering the House Committee of the Whole. Day 1 ng House Committee of the Whole.
Marian, first of all, can you tell us what Committee of the Whole is all about?
Okay. Hi, magandang hapon, Box and Patrick.
Hello.
Yung Committee of the Whole, ito ngayon yung buong miyembro, lahat, 300 members,
316.
mahigit na miyembro ng Kamara, magsasama-sama nga bilang isang komite. Kasi kung regular committee yan, like for example, as a Committee on Legislative Franchises or Constitutional Amendments, iilan lang yung mga miyembro na parte ng komite na yun at sila lang yung makakapag-participate kumbaga. Pero ngayon, ginawa na sila nga buong lahat, 300 plus members ng Kamara na magsasama-sama para lahat makakapagtanong, magbibigyan ng pagkakataon na makapag-participate na nga dito para daw magiging mas mabilis na yung proseso ng pagpulong nga nitong kanilang pagpapasa nga ng resolution of both houses number 7 o yung pagtutulak nitong economic tsa-tsa.
Okay, Marian, kamusta ang day 1? Umusad ba yung RBH number 7 kung saan 3 ang gustong amyendahang bagay sa konstitusyon sa economic provisions?
Tama, 3 lamang yung gusto nilang amyendahan, public utilities, education and advertising.
Liberalize.
Yun lang yung mga gusto nilang luwagan. And kanina lang may opening statement si House Speaker Martin Romualdez na siya nga tumayo ng chairperson ng komite. Sinasabi niya, ekonomiya at hindi politika. Yan yung kanilang gustong baguhin. Malinaw po. Sabi niya sa ating lahat, ang mission natin ngayon, baguhin lang ang ilang economic provisions na pumipigil natin sa pagpasok ng mga negosyo mula sa ibang bansa. So ito yung kanilang pinuputo at nililinaw para nang mawala na yung mga duda, yung mga doubts or mga nire-raise ng mga kritiko tungkol dito.
Marian, I understand na nagsalita dyan si Economic Planning Secretary Balisacan, Arsenio Balisacan. Can you tell us anong pinaka-gist ng kanyang pitch sa Kongreso?
Yes, actually, invited lahat, no? Lahat, pati yung mga ibang economic managers, even yung mga nag-oppose dito sa charter change. So, led Secretary Balisacan, syempre, sinabi nga niya na yung foreign direct investment, kailangan nga natin ito lalo, no, para mas madagdagan na push yung ating ekonomiya. Pero isa rin magandang point dito ni Executive Director, Ibon Foundation Executive Director Tony Africa, na sinasabi niya, hindi naman natin kailangan buksan pa yung ating ekonomiya. Kailangan, it's not necessary because kung ikukumpara nga natin yung mga provisions natin dito, mas bukas pa nga raw tayo kaysa sa ibang bansa. Pero meron lang akong inonote, no? Bago nag-umpisa yung talakayan, deliberasyon, yung pag-state o binigyan ng pagkakataon yung mga resource persons na magsalita. Naging mainit muna yung deliberasyon tungkol dito sa rules and procedures kung paano nga uusad itong resolution of both houses number 7. Kasi una, si Teachers Party Representative Franz Castro, tinanong niya kung ano ba itong Committee of the Whole na to, para na ba itong Constituent Assembly? Tapos bakit parang 3 yung pinopropose natin under the rules? Dapat isa lang, di ba, na topic? Pero nilinaw naman niya ng mga mambabatas na tama naman kasi nga isa lang naman talaga yung topic, which is amend the Constitution. Pero sin-specify lang na yung 3 provision na yun, public utilities, education, and the advertising industry. Nilinaw din na hindi maaaring maging CONAS o Constituent Assembly ang isang Committee of the Whole kasi when you say CONAS, dapat magkasama ang Senado at Kamara. Pero ito na yung naging pagtalakay nila Congressman Ed Selagman, Albay Representative Ed Selagman. Kasi tinanong niya na paano ba yung mangyayari kapag naipasa na ng Kamara itong ating resolution na RBH 7 and mag-concur na ang Senado kasi meron din silang RBH number 6. Magko-convene ba o magsasama ba ang Senado at Kamara bilang CONAS para mag-propose ng amendment at magbotohan ng 3/4? Ang sagot dyan nung tumayong floor majority leader na si Mandaluyong Representative Neftali Gonzalez na siya isang deputy majority leader, sinabi niya na hindi na kailangan pang magsama ng Kamara at Senado. Sabi niya ganito, we are exercising separately the powers granted by the Constitution, which is we vote by at least 3/4 of all the members separately. And then once we have concurred with the same resolution, then it will now be sent to the COMELEC for purposes of plebiscite. And there is no more need to meet at the joint assembly. Sabi niya gano'n. Pero pinunayan niya ni Congressman Lagman. Kasi under the Constitution, 3 lang yung paraan para makapag-propose ka ng amendment sa taligang batas. That is CONAS, magkasama ang Kamara at Senado, CONCON, magbobotohan, mag-elect tayo ng mga delegado per region, per district, at yung People's Initiative. Tapos sinabi niya nga na dapat umupo ang Kamara at Senado before nga propose amendment for ratification nga nitong natin, ng mga publiko for a proper plebiscite. Tapos sabi ni Gonzales, may 2 views dyan. That may be your view, pero ito yung kanilang pagtingin dito. Under the Constitution, no? Sabi niya, quote, kaya nagkakagulo rin parating may tanong, do we need jointly or no? Do we vote separately or jointly? Yan mo palagi yung nagiging issue. Kaya nga walang mangyayari sa pag-amend natin sa Constitution. Sa ganito, under the Constitution, sinasabi lang namin sinasabi lang naman ho dyan, Congress may, by a vote of 3/4, all its members may amend or propose amendments or revisions to the Constitution. Hindi naman sinabi that you have to sit jointly. Although may nagsasabi kailangan na kung kayo sabay-sabay.
Okay, Marian, lumalabas ngayon, coming from the majority floor leader, Congressman Gonzales, lumalabas na the House leadership has accepted that the voting will be separately.
Yes. Tama. And they're keeping
Si,
this as a regular
si Congressman Lagman na lang di makatanggap nun. Parang gano'n lumalabas. Kasi kine-question pa niya. Anyway.
Tama. Kine-question niya at hindi raw yun yung paraan sa pag-amyenda ng saligang batas.
Pero Marian, was that clear as day that Gonzales was speaking for the House leadership in saying na voting separately talaga ang mangyayari? Or is that his own personal opinion? I mean, I just like to get that out of the way na parang, is this a position talaga of the leadership na separate voting? Because I asked that because that is not in RBH number 7 of what is pending before the House now. Yung nga, yung pinala mo sa akin na excerpt, it just says, upon a vote of 3/4 of all its members. I mean, that's pretty vague. That doesn't say whether it's separately or jointly. So I just want to be clear exactly what the position is officially of the leadership.
Is Congressman Gonzales as majority leader speaking on behalf of the House leadership? Parang ganun na tanong mo, Bok. Yeah. Because this would be significant, Marian.
Siya ang pinili na tumayo bilang floor leader, kumbaga kanina, na sumasagot sa lahat ng mga tanong ng mga kongresista.
Okay,
So,
and the session, the Committee of the Whole, was presided by who, Marian?
It was opened by House Speaker Martin Romualdez,
Okay.
yung chairperson. Pero ngayon si Majority Leader Manix Dalipe ang umupo after ni Speaker. Nasa namang tumatayo.
So there were key
Vice.
House leaders during the session a while ago, during the meeting of the Committee of the Whole, and there was no objection to them, coming from them, on the position taken by Congressman or Majority Leader Gonzales. Ganun yun,
Yes,
Marian?
tama ka. You're right, Patrick.
So tell me if I'm getting this right. So as of this moment, at this particular point, the position verbally of the leadership is that it is voting separately. As
Yes.
well
And they're treating it as a regular bill.
as well deliberating separately, because that's exactly what they're doing right now. Diba?
Yes.
So at this point, pero my point also is that in the actual RBH, it doesn't say that. It's still vaguely worded, so that can change anytime. I mean, that's why I'm emphasizing that as of this time, verbally, this is what they're saying. Pero in the RBH that they're deliberating about or on, it's not specified.
It's not specified.
Na separately
Tama.
voting.
Okay.
Oo,
They can always change their mind. Bok.
They can always change their mind.
Parang ganun.
That's what I'm saying.
Pero as of
verbally
now,
right now,
that's the position that we're hearing from the House of Representatives. And another curious thing, they don't even expect to sit together.
Yeah. Okay, that's the other thing.
Parang ganon.
So in effect, Marian, what my reading from what you're saying then is simply na con-as na ito.
Pero hindi sila magkasama.
Separately nagko-con-as na yung dalawa. In deliberating RBH 7 and RBH 6 by Congress and the Senate, they are doing already the con-as itself, leading to a separate vote.
Well, we cannot technically say that it's a con-us because according to lawmakers nga rin kanina na ang Constituent Assembly, kapag umupo ng magkasama.
Uy, akala ko di na sila magsasama para bumoto.
Oo, kasi kanina sabi nila, di ba, pag natapos ng Senado yung sa kanila, natapos ang Kongreso, sa kanila, papadala nila sa COMELEC para sa plebisito.
True. Oo.
Diba? Yun lang, may point of divergence, may point of non-clarity lang there.
Yes.
Which will be a point of debate later on Pagdedebatihan
Yun
yun.
Yun din yung gusto i-point out ni Congressman Lagman kanina. Na dapat dapat magkasama ang Senado at Kamara, pero bakit may sarili tayo, may sarili sila, tapos kanya-kanya, and then kanya-kanyang butuhan.
Kanya-kanyang 3/4, tapos punta ng COMELEC, titignan ng COMELEC, schedule of plebiscite. Marian, during the deliberations a while ago, napapag-usapan ba? Was it ever discussed? We're talking about three revisions in the Constitution here, no? on public utilities or public services, on education, if I'm not mistaken,
Advertising.
and on advertising. Are they talking about 100% foreign ownership, or there are still limits?
Well,
Because I know, for example, in education, for the benefit of our viewers or people who are watching and listening, in education, book, and in advertising, it's no foreign money at all.
No foreign ownership, pero pwede atang foreign capital pero kailangan Filipino management.
Okay. So, are napapag-usapan ba, Maria, kung up to how many percent papayagan ang pagpasok ng mga foreigners sa mga industriya ito?
Napaka-limited nung time na kanina, no? Kasi nga medyo naubos doon sa deliberation about the rules. To make it 1 hour na yung napunta doon bago pa nabigyan ng pagkakataon yung mga resource persons na magsalita. Pero, at hindi rin pa nga nagkaroon ng interpellation o nakapagtanong yung mga mamabata. So, bukas ipagpapatuloy yan ulit ng 1 p.m. At mas mabibigyan ng detalye.
Okay. Marian, you've been covering this story from the House of Representatives side. Do you sense a sea change or some softening, let's say, on the part of the House of Representatives or the House leadership on this matter as far as it relates with, relationship nila with the senators? Medyo ba parang, kasi nagulat kami dito sa Paez na sila for the first time, explicitly, at least for now, explicitly voting separately.
And verbally.
And verbally.
And verbally.
In an official plenary or meeting. So, what brought about this change, Marian? I mean, having covered the House, the developments there for the past how many weeks?
Actually, na-feel mo, talagang medyo nabawasan, no? Parang medyo nagkaroon ng lumamig kumbaga yung kanilang pakikutuwo dahil nga nung mga nakaraang araw talaga may kanya-kanya patot sa dahan yung bawat mga mambabatas. Kung may masabi yung Senado, meron dito sagot itong Kamara. Pero mapapansin mo ngayon, they're just focused na maipasa na to. And tingin nga nila before the Holy Week sana. Gagawan nila ng paraan na mapasa to. Pero when it comes to deadline, meron pang mga sinasabi yata yung Senado na bakit daw si PBBM nga hindi nagbibigay ng deadline. Sagot naman nila basta they're just heeding to the call of the President, di ba? Parang hindi mo naman kailangan magpaka-estudyante ka na maghihintay ka ng deadline ng homework mo. So parang sa kanila, puputok na lang sila dito gagawin nila. And yun na rin yung instruction from Speaker Romualdez na yun nga, magpumutok na lang, focus na lang muna sa trabaho, huwag may pagsagutan.
Bok, ako, huling tanong na lang before we let you go. Okay, di ba, napaka-importante lalo sa usapin ng konstitusyon, hindi lang ng batas ito konstitusyon na anumang mapag-usapan, mapagkasunduan, kailangan to the letter and to the exact punctuation napagkasunduan yan. In other words, may bersyon ng Kongreso, may bersyon ng Senado, dapat magkakasundo yan to the letter and to the punctuation. Ang problema dito, kanya-kanya silang dalawa, wala namang bicameral committee para pagkasundo yung dalawang yan. At this particular point, magkaiba sila. I mean, pareho yung provisions, na economic provisions, pero yun nga sa Senate nakalagay voting separately. Sa House, wala nakalagay na ganun. How will this be resolved technically? Kung pagbotohan ng Senado ang kanilang as-is at pagbotohan ng Kongreso ang kanilang as-is, paano sila magkakasundo?
Yan din ang tanong natin, Bok, no? At i-quote natin yung lagi sinasabi ni Majority Leader Manix Benitez, will cross the bridge
when you get there.
And titingnan natin yung COMELEC kung paano yung appreciation nila. At mamaya abangan natin kung ano naman at magkaroon ng, baka may mag-file dyan sa Korte Suprema. Abangan pa natin mga susunod na kapangyarihan.
I asked it kasi even a misplaced comma will make a huge difference, especially in the Constitution So, kung ano man ang ipasa ng isa, kailangan magkasundo silang dalawa.
Okay.
And you cannot have any divergence at all.
Okay. But we have this... Maadya ka lang muna, no? Kasi we have this latest advisory from our digital team. There's a quote here from the House Speaker, Martin Romualdez, and it says, open quote, to dispel doubts of the efforts of the House of Representatives in pushing for the amendment of the economic provisions of the Constitution are politically motivated. We are adopting all the 3 proposed amendments of the Senate version of the resolution of both houses number 6 in toto. Close quote. So we're back to what was originally the wish or the desire of the President na let the Senate take the lead at ipasa nyo na lang, House of Representatives. May ganun ba development dyan, Maan?
Actually, yung sinabi nga, bahagi nung opening statement niya o Kiko Martin Romualdez kanina, no? Para mawala na yung mga doubts. Actually, talaga gusto lang nila ipakita na tatlo lang. Yung gusto nilang amyendahan, wala namang political provisions, hindi gagalawin yan. Mga term extensions, wala po tayong pag-uusapan na ganyan. Yan ang paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng mga House leaders. And doon na talaga sila nakatutok. So for now, gagawa na sila ng sarili nila rin, gugulong na sa kanilang mga deliberasyon alongside kung ano man yung ginagawa ng
Okay.
Yeah. Pero that's also an important point to point out Kasi yes, magkakasundo sila ngayong dalawa sa tatlong provision na yan dahil it's easy to get along naman with that Parang bare minimum yan diba? Bare minimum
right.
But in the end, magkakatuloy yan doon sa how the vote will be done. Kasi whichever way the vote is done now will become a president for future votes to amend the Constitution. So kung sakaling in the end, mapagkasunod man yan, itong tatlo lang, pero ang mangyari sa huli, voting jointly, that will be a president for future amendments.
Okay.
Tama.
But for now, the House has relented.
Okay.
The House has relented. It will be voting separately, 3/4 from the Senate, 3/4 from the House of Representatives. And to use the exact words of the Speaker, Martin Romualdez, they will adopt the Senate version in toto. That's the quote we're getting from the House of Representatives right now.
But they have not.
Huh?
They have not. Well, they adopted the 3 provisions.
No, it seems
But
seems
not
like
the measure. But not the measure itself. Kasi iba yung wording ng measure
Well, let's see, Bok, pero that was part of the President's original plan, was for the Senate to initiate and for the House of Representatives to just approve.
The original plan was for the Senate to finish everything, pass it to the House, and then the House will deliberate on what the Senate...
or just approve.
Ito, kasabay sila
No, it would seem that the meeting of the Committee of the Whole that happened, or that's still happening, those are live videos, by the way, that's still happening in the House of Representatives, is ang focus ata nila, Bok, is establishing the rules and clarifying to the other members of the House, the rules that they're adopting with regards to this charter change.
Okay.
A lot of the deliberations and the discussions focus on the rules. Kasi hindi malinaw.
Si Maan, bitawan natin. Baka mas kapan si Maan pag...
Yes. Maan, maraming salamat. That was Maan Enriquez.
Maan, thank you at least iba na yung picture mo ngayon.
Okay, that was Maan Enriquez, News 5 correspondent at the House of Representatives. Okay, meantime, let's get more details from yesterday's prayer rally in Cebu. Let's bring in Freeman editor Dale Israel. Dale?
Kumusta dyan kahapon?
Okay.
Yes, maayong hapon, Patrick, Ed. We attended the prayer rally against People's Initiative last night, which featured former President Rodrigo Duterte and attended by thousands of supporters at the South Road properties in Cebu City. Their lead convener, Attorney Irene Caballo, said there were over 30,000 that attended the gathering. The police has not yet released a crowd estimate as of this time. What we know so far is that attendees are not all from Cebu. There are those that came from Bohol, Leyte, Davao, Cagayan de Oro. Most of them are those from Cebu, who are from the urban poor sector here in Metro Cebu area. And what we observe also is that the crowd did not fill the very wide outdoor venue when the program started at 7 p.m. And it was raining also. It raining hard, just about an hour before the event, which also made the venue extremely muddy. But it did not stop the attendees from going though.
Interesting across the sea.
Across the sea.
Bohol tsaka Leyte, tama ba? Bohol and Leyte?
Bohol, Leyte, and there's from Davao. There's a lot of
Cagayan de Oro.
And also Cagayan de Oro. Yes.
Ang layo ng
And what is
galingan,
interesting also is, what is interesting also is that the crowd increased when Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte started his speech. It is full of expletives, and that is what people are probably interested in listening to, as to what he was going to say.
So it was the son this time, Dale, not the father.
Yes.
Well, how was the former president's speech?
The former president's speech was a bit tame than what he did. Like in Davao, he called for when he called President Marcos a drug addict, and also one of the factors also that made the crowd double was that there's a game show by TV host Willie Revillame, complete with dancers.
And jackets. Ilang jacket kaya
And
na pamigay?
jackets, yes.
Oo.
And cash prizes were given out. And meanwhile, as expected also, that none of the Duterte allied Cebu officials attended except for Mayor Michael Rama and Councilor Dondon Ontiveros. And there was no walkout from Mayor Michael Rama.
Okay, so it's very significant to point out who attended and who did not attend, no, Dale? So who else did not attend? Who should have been there or
if you
could
put
have
it in
been there?
context, there are about 50 mayors in Cebu Island. None of those elected officials from Cebu provincial government were also there. All the 11 congressmen from the districts of Cebu are also absent. But if you listen to the crowd, you can definitely feel the passion of those Duterte supporters who are all out against the Marcos administration, and you can even hear them say that they were nabudol nga in 2022.
Okay.
But yeah.
Was the vice president around, Dale? We just have to ask. The vice president, the
Vice President
president's
Sara was
sister,
not
Senator
there.
Marcos.
Senator Marcos and Vice President Sara was absent also. And what's interesting about this rally compared to the one in Davao is that most speakers here are a bit tame, just like President Duterte, just like Mayor Rama also, who also did not sought for, or who only sought for further unity between Marcos and VP Sara Duterte. Rama said the country does not need another EDSA revolution, and to quote Mayor Rama, Marcos Duterte, do your job, because if the people see it is not going well, then we see people complaining. And also, Rama also emphasized that he is against People's Initiative and described it as a congressional initiative or a secret initiative. To quote again the mayor, he said, Cebu City is not for sale, our country is not for sale.
Okay.
Again, there was no walkout from Mayor Rama, but also with his wife and child.
Del, pero interesting ang video na nakikita namin dyan sa, at least from last night, yung iba rin pala yung may prayer dance, no? Sa yung video kanina.
There was a candle lighting.
Okay.
There was a candle lighting. And there was really prayer now on the prayer rally. There's an imam, there was a pastor, and there's a, I don't know how you call it.
Ito yung prayer dance, oh. I don't know if you can see it now.
That's right. But,
Okay, Dale,
the prayer,
how much of the rally was a political rally, a prayer rally, and an entertainment show? If you can break it down to us.
so probably we can say that the prayer was just a little bit at the start of the program.
Which is how
And
most
then
rallies go anyway, di ba? Most rallies start
And
off with the prayer.
prayer.
The rest is the game show, and then the speeches of the speakers, like Mayor Baste, who was actually no holds barred. If there was a prayer, then there's Mayor Baste, who was no holds barred in criticizing Speaker Martin Romualdez.
So the prayer was only at the start.
At the start, yes.
I asked about that kasi di ba, a lot of mass actions also begin with prayers din naman eh. So I was wondering, like Patrick was asking, how much of it
This doesn't have to be
prayer?
called a prayer rally. Parang ganun.
Or rally starting with a prayer is different from a prayer rally.
It started with the prayer. I guess the prayer was just about around 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Sige. And then, were you surprised with the former president's statements? Kasi coming from yung January 28 na bakbak niya against BBM dun sa Davao, ngayon, what we're hearing from the former president is he sees nothing wrong with what the president is doing and he's for charter change. Basta it's not to the advantage of the incumbent. So medyo malaking turnaround, I suppose, ha?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. We were actually waiting for what he was going to say because we were told that there's a pasabog, but
Oh.
what we have, what we got was something very tame Duterte.
Oh.
Although there was the expletives there, as usual, as what he does in all his speeches, but the one that gave out uh, tirade, tirades against the administration was
Was Baste.
his son,
Okay.
Baste.
So
He even
yung
challenged Romualdez uh, that he's like he said that Romualdez has very huge ambition. That's why he has this push for charter change, and he challenged Romualdez to give out assistance to the people and not put his name or his photo on this ayuda. He bet 1,500 pesos if the speaker could do such.
bakit 1.5 lang?
Anyway, Bok, I think we have a clip of the
Oo.
bite from
Dale, ito to. May
Davao
soundbite
City
tayo
Mayor.
from Baste Duterte. Let's listen to it first.
Isog lang ka kay speaker ka karon, speaker lang ka kay tungod ang igagaw din mo presidente mauna. Walay kaso magpasakop ko. Magpasakop ko ninyo og maayo lang unta mo. Pero ngayon ani naman lang alam da bagay.
So nandun yung nandun yung paghahamon, Dale. That
Yeah,
part.
that's actually the highlight of his speech. He will be challenging him to a fist fight. In Cebuano, it's called sumbagay. Actually, the complete word is sumbagay. And in conversation, he said he would, in Cebuano conversation, you trim down a word, sumbagay becomes bagay. So it's like, taman, bagay? It's like naghahamon ng sumbagay or it's suntukan.
Sumbagay suntukan, tama ba? Sumbagay suntukan.
That's correct. And you shorten it, and in conversation, you shorten it, it's called bagay.
Bagay.
Bagay ta.
Sige.
Dale, I wonder if the former president's speech was in a way tempered by the restrictions or the warnings or the advice of local politicians in Cebu, for the president not to attack, for the former president not to attack PBBM.
We just can't speculate as to whether there was a talk between him and Rama, but we know for a fact that President Duterte was already in the tent with Mayor Rama for several hours before they went out and spoke. So probably they had a little talk of how the program was going to be before they went out to the stage.
So napigilan, Bok. Pero yung anak di na napigilan siguro yun na.
He was actually the first one to speak before before the two, Mayor Rama and President Duterte.
Okay, so that was Dale Israel, our One News desk based in Cebu. Maraming salamat, Dale.
Editor ng Freeman. Dale, nakakuha ba ng jacket?
They won't give out. They won't give out to the media.
Okay, joke lang yun.
Daghang salamat, Dale.
And you're still watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a quick break. We'll be back in a bit.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group. Okay, the stories that are the headlines and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Patrick Paez with Ed Lingao.
Hello. Makasama na rin natin na ulit si Ana Marie Pamintuan ng Editor-in-Chief ng Philippine Star. Ami, magandang umaga. Magandang Lunes pala.
Magandang hapon. Ed, Patrick.
Magandang Lunes.
Ami.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Ami. So, Ami, what do we expect on tomorrow's Philippine Star, the Philippine Star front page?
Medyo magulo pa yung mga storya ngayon, ongoing yung sa House, and yung pinakikinggan ko yung usapan nyo kanina eh. Sabi meron kaming dagdag lang doon yung sinabi ni Senate President Subiri na kanina daw nung nagpirmahan nung Expanded Centenarian Act sa Malacanang, sinabi daw sa kanya ni President Marcos, ang gusto daw niya sa plebiscite sa synchronized na yung cha-cha plebiscite sa elections in May. Mukhang hindi yan ang timetable ng House. In the meantime, nabanggit na nga kanina na yung House ipapadala naman daw yung kanilang version ng
Senado
cha-cha to the COMELEC before the Holy Week. Medyo malayo-layo. Medyo magkaiba yung for deliberation and for the plebiscite din, hindi ba? So medyo nagre-reconcile pa. We're trying to reconcile pa. Kung ano mangyayari. Mahaba-haba pa tong oras na to, baka mamaya magdidaiba na naman ang mga istorya.
And they need to reconcile versions kasi wala naman silang BICAM eh.
Yes.
Walang BICAM process dito eh.
Saka medyo malabo nga, nabanggit mo na nga Ed, di ba? Yung sinasabi nilang separate voting. Actually, magkaiba yung version nga on a very specific, in fact, yun ang pinag-aawayan nila eh. Yung on the joint voting. Kasi last week, nagsalita din yung mga congressmen, remember, sabi nila, hindi naman daw unconstitutional. In fact daw yung sa Senate ang unconstitutional dahil wala naman daw sa constitution natin na yun nga na separate yung 3/4 vote.
Actually,
hindi natin alam kung ano mangyayari, di ba?
Actually, Ami, to be fair then to the House, ang nasa House version sa RBH number 7 is basically is basically the same phrasing as what is in the Constitution.
Kaya nga sabi nila, sila daw yung constitutional yung version.
Kasi ito, Article 17 ng Constitution, yung Amendments and Revisions, Section 1, Congress upon a vote of 3/4 of all its members. Yun ang CONAS. Congress upon a vote of 3/4 of all its members.
And when you say Congress, it's already the two chambers.
Yeah.
The two chambers.
Yung House version, yung RBH number 7, which is what is nakasalang sa Congress, resolved by the Congress upon a vote of 3/4 of all its members. Basically the same.
Yes. Pero on the other hand, Ed, hindi ba? Bicameral yan eh.
Yeah.
Siyempre, kailangan makuha yung sense ng dalawang chamber on any piece of work na ipoproduce ng Kongreso. Baka kailangan iakyat pa yan sa Supreme Court. Magkakatagal lang talaga.
Hindi malayo.
Usapan ako.
Like anything and everything. Diba? Napupunta ng Supreme Court.
Tapos i-a-appel ang desisyon ng Supreme Court.
Right. Actually, Public Services Act meron na, di ba, Ami? Public Services Act. Open na sa foreign investment ang utilities natin eh. Except that may kaso sa Supreme Court.
And it's still
Retail
pending.
Trade Liberalization Act, meron din tayo noon.
Oo.
At saka yung marami na tayo, actually mga incentives siya ng pinoint out noon nila several justices when they faced the Senate. Kasama si Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. Sabi nila, naremedyo nga na ng legislation ng maraming sectors. Right. Bakit hindi na lang daw ituloy-tuloy na legislation. In fact, yung sa renewable energy, nag-issue lang na circular yung Department of Energy to allow foreign ownership. Circular lang yung Department Circular. So, baka mas madali kung talagang economic provision lang ang gusto, hindi ba? Kaya ang pinoproblema nga yung issue ng Senate, yung pinupush na sa People's Initiative, yung joint voting, para mamamarginalize yung Senate.
Actually,
Yan ang problema dyan.
Actually, Amit, it turns out na mas madaling pag-usapan yung mga gusto nilang i-revise.
Yes.
Madaling pagkasunduan kung ano gusto mong i-revise eh. Ang mayroong pagkasunduan yung paano mo i-revise.
Yung botohan.
O, yung botohan.
Yung botohan. But we're hearing,
lahat ng businessmen lahat ng politiko, I don't think anyone will say na against sila na amend yung economic restrictive economic provisions eh.
But-
Kahit sabihin ng may pwedeng legislation, ang problema lang nga yung method. Yung People's Initiative, conjoint voting ba, yun ang problema.
At saka, Ami, even former President Duterte, okay din daw siya sa charter change
Yes, hindi
for
ba?
economic provisions.
Yes.
So
Well,
nobody's
he pushed
really
for a
in
broader,
disagreement.
Actually, he pushed for a rewriting of the Constitution for federalism. Di ba? So, hindi pwedeng hindi siya pabor sa economic cha-cha. Kaya lang nga, yung mga nangyayari ngayon, dahil ni Rush, within 1 month, meron kang 12 million signatures. Medyo nakakapagtaka din, di ba?
Record-breaking.
And yan yung pinopropose hanggang ngayon, sinasabi ng House. Kami yung constitutional version na wala namang sinasabi ng separate voting. So, medyo malabo pa. Naghihintay pa kami ng klaro ngayon. Until several hours can make a lot of difference dito sa, alam mo naman, ang Kongreso natin.
And remember, yung 12 million gathered signatures, yes, naisantabi muna yan, pero that's still active. In other words, pwede pa nilang gamitin yan. Wala namang expiration yan eh.
At saka kahit 12 million, tuloy-tuloy pa lang.
Oo, pwede nilang dagdagan. I mean,
di ba?
they can suspend it, but they can also add to it. It will not expire.
Yes. Saka yan ang problema. Wala pa nga rules ng COMELEC. Di ba sinabi din sa atin ni Chairman Garcia. Wala pa silang rules for verification kasi nga medyo malabo nga daw kung meron nang in the first place, hindi sila sigurado kung meron ng implement yung law for a people's initiative. Gusto pa nila ng klaro yan eh. So medyo malabo, although, yan ang pinag-aaksayan, yan ang pinoconcentrate ngayon ng mga lawmakers natin, charter change.
And the other benchmark, yung 3% of each congressional district, ang huling bitaw ni COMELEC Chairperson George Garcia, 200 districts na ang may 3%.
Yes.
53, 54 na lang na districts ang wala pang 3%.
Okay.
So, di ba?
Hinihintay namin yung pagklaro ng Malacanang kasi baka medyo namali na naman ang dinig si Speaker Zubiri. Sabi niya kasi separate daw silang kinausap ni President Marcos after the signing kanina ng mga bills. Sila ni Speaker Martin na naman separate daw. So, di namin alam, baka something got lost in translation na naman.
Teka, Ami, importante yan. Kasi pag binanggit ang separate, napapaisip tuloy yung mga tao kung ano yung separate. Separate na kinausap o separate na pagkasundo ng separate voting.
Separate na kinausap ni President Marcos.
Which is Ami, it's very significant na up to this point, hindi pa rin pwede sila pagsamahin sa isang kwarto. Ganong kalalim, ano?
Kung di mo nga ma-joint meeting, joint voting mo ba?
Yeah, remember that the event is the signing of law, yung Centenarian Act. Siyempre, nandun yung liderato ng dalawang chambers. So, bakit kailangan kausapin separately?
Right. Oo.
So, diba?
Medyo malalim pa rin yung tampo. From both sides, I understand. It's not just one side that's feeling bad about what happened. But at the same time, Ami, we're hearing from our House reporter, Maan Enriquez, that nagbitaw ng salita si Majority Leader Neptali Gonzalez Jr. na it will be voting separately. 3/4 from the House, 3/4 from the Senate. So this is at least the most concrete we have heard so far from the House leadership, it would seem, that should assure the senators that it will be voting separately. Kasi dito naman talaga nagsimula yung away at saka mistrust, Ami, di ba? Because the People's Initiative was all about voting jointly. Right.
Yes. So ngayon, ang tanong na lang, yung timing. Kasi the Senate doesn't want to be rushed into chancelling, di ba? They still have to discuss. Kasi sabi nila, ang balak nila, magko-constitute sila ng parang Senate Assembly imbes na Constituent Assembly. So, they still have to discuss the rules, hindi ba? Ewan natin kung madi-discuss yan even before the Holy Week, kung ma-finalize nila. So, marami-rami na dyan, ang palagay ko, mag-umpisa na magbakasyon eh.
So that's your view, Ami. It's ang pinagtatalunan na lang talaga is it's the timetable.
Timetable. Kasi sabi ng Senate, the earliest na kakayanin nila, mga bandang mga fourth quarter pa, hindi ba? Yun ang sinabi nila eh. Fourth quarter of the year. Saka yan naman, sinabi ni Speaker Zubiri, kung magkakaroon ng plebiscite, isasabay sa May elections in 2025 na mukhang hindi yata gusto ng mga congressmen. Iniintay pa namin reaction ng House dyan sa sinabi nga ni Speaker Sabili.
I guess, Ami, no,
Timetable na yan.
yeah, I guess, Ami, no, after all this brouhaha over procedure, no, it's largely procedural. Of course, it very existential implications on the Senate. But apart from this procedural brouhaha, I think at some point we need to get down into what those changes in the economic provisions really mean or how
Yes.
significant they are. Because earlier we've heard from Senator, I think, Amy Marcos, that you don't really get a lot when you liberalize or open to foreign ownership advertising and education. Parang ganun. Parang this is not what's gonna...
Sobrang niche. Sobrang niche.
Sobrang maliit. It's not what's gonna lift the country economically. Parang
Yes.
ganon.
Yeah, hindi siya job generating yan. Kailangan natin manufacturing.
Manufacturing, right. Oh.
And we have to boost agriculture, which is a
Right.
local initiative. Hindi naman yan gagawin ng mga foreigner para sa atin.
And there are no restrictions there, Ami, right?
There are no restrictions for local.
Except maybe if you think about land ownership, but there are no restrictions at least on lease. And I think
Yes.
foreign companies would be happy with a stable lease on
Hindi
land.
naman yun ang gusto ng local stakeholders natin in agriculture.
Oho.
Gusto nila sila ang tulungan.
Right.
At hanggang ngayon, nakukulangan pa sila sa tulong.
So
Kung
yun,
yun
ano?
talaga ang target, it's a poverty alleviation measure
Right.
at saka foreign direct investment attraction. And yun nga, marami na tayong pinasang batas, marami na tayong areas na open to foreign 100% ownership. Pero wala naman tayong, we are not seeing any rush. No? Kung yan talaga yung pinakamalaking hindrances. Pinakamarami pa rin napupunta. Pag tinignan nyo yung data ng ASEAN, ang number one pa rin for FDI in the region is Singapore. Tayo, nangunguna lang tayo. At natalo na tayo ng Vietnam eh. Nangunguna lang tayo, nasa bottom 5 na tayo.
Well, Vietnam is more restrictive,
Yes.
Vietnam is
It's
more
communist country, remember. Meron silang mga lease lang for everything is owned by the state yung
You
land.
can't own, as a foreigner, you
Meron
can't
lang
own the
silang mga
land.
lease arrangements. So kung yan lang talaga ang objective, marami, lahat ng foreign chambers, sinabi na nila, marami naman silang mga suggestion kung how to attract more investments. Pero hindi, of course, they will welcome any easing of restrictions sa constitution, sa ownership. Pero kailangan siyang backupan ng iba eh.
Okay. The irony, Ami, Bok, is that what we're hearing from foreign chambers of commerce is that it's the political noise being generated
Yes.
over charter
Kaya
change
nga.
that's turning off investors.
Yes, saka yung unpredictability, it adds to the unpredictability pag ganyan masyadong politicized yung business environment. Di ba, matagal na nareklamo. Yung mga kontrata, nagbabago from one administration to the next, kahit from one secretary to the next, nagbabago. Biglang babalik ka rin. Tapos nasa kalagitnaan ka ng project mo, biglang may babaguhin doon sa kontrata. Siyempre I'm sure kung investor ka, mag-isip-isip ka. Doon na lang ako sa medyo predictable na environment. And of course, nandiyan pa rin yung red tape na karamihan doon is mga imposition siya ng mga political leaders, local political leaders na hindi maayos-ayos. Kahit meron pa tayong mga one-stop shop, ang dami-dami na natin ganyan eh. Pero hanggang ngayon, reklamo pa rin nila ease of doing business. Dalawa na ang ating batas, yung Anti-Red Tape Act and Ease of Doing Business Act. Pero bakit hanggang ngayon nirereklamo pa rin yung ease of doing business? Baba pa rin tayo sa mga ranking, international and regional, sa ease of doing business. But anyway, kung sabi nga ni President Duterte, kung gusto niya mag-chat-chat, sige, basta hindi lang makikinabang yung mga incumbent. Yan na lang siguro.
Okay. Maraming salamat. Naman ay pamintuan ng hepe ng Philippine Star.
Thank you, Ed and Patrick. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday! Malapit na ang Biyernes.
Thank you for your time, Ami Pamintuan.
Well, busog na busog tayo for Monday, no? Ang daming ganap ngayong araw. Sige, mukhang masaya itong linggo to. And those are the stories that are the headlines, the stories behind the headlines. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Patrick Paez. Join the Story Conference again tomorrow at 4 p.m. This is One News, all sides, all the time. This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.